Okay, so let's get right into it. This is not your average snow day. We're talking about a massive winter storm that's putting nearly two-thirds of the United States on a high alert. And we're going to break down exactly why this is a multi-day, high-impact event that has the entire country watching. And right off the bat, we're starting with this really stark warning from forecasters. When you hear a phrase like generationally bad, that gets your attention. It tells you right away, this is no ordinary storm. It sets a very serious tone for what's about to unfold. And this number? This is exactly why it's so serious. An estimated 200 million people are directly in the path of this thing. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That's nearly two-thirds of the entire US population, all bracing for what's coming. All right, so let's zoom out and look at the sheer scale of Winter Storm Fern. We're talking about a single weather system that stretches for 2,000 miles. Think about that. It's just a massive footprint, impacting 35 states from the plains of Texas all the way up the East Coast. And the real danger here, it isn't just one thing. It's this dangerous cocktail of weather hazards all hitting at once. You've got the extreme, bone-chilling cold. Then you pile on heavy snow. And then, and this is a real kicker, a layer of crippling ice. It's that combination that creates such a high-impact scenario. So what's brewing this perfect storm? Well, the science behind it is actually pretty fascinating, and it's really the key to understanding why this event is so potent and so dangerous. It's a classic, really powerful setup. First, you get this blast of brutally cold Arctic air. We're talking a piece of the polar vortex itself, plunging deep into the US. And then bam, it collides with this surge of warm, moist air streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico. And that collision zone? Well, that's where all the trouble begins. And right in the middle of that trouble zone, you have to understand the difference between sleet and freezing rain. It's absolutely crucial. Sleet? Yeah, it's annoying, sure, but it bounces. Freezing rain? That's the real villain here. It falls as a liquid, but freezes the second it hits anything. It coats every single surface, trees, cars, and especially power lines, in this heavy, destructive glaze of ice. So with that kind of weather hammering the country, it's really no surprise that the first and most widespread impact is on travel. This storm isn't just causing a few delays. It's triggering a full-on shutdown of our travel networks, both in the air and on the ground. And this isn't a one-day problem. It's an evolving crisis that plays out over several days. It all kicks off on Friday, but Saturday is going to be the absolute worst day to be anywhere near an airport, as the storm just paralyzes the South. And get this, even by Monday, the ripple effects will still be causing delays all across the country as airlines scramble to get their crews and planes back where they're supposed to be. The fallout is just massive. Forecasters were predicting this thing would cause more than 4,000 flight cancellations. And that's a direct result of key airline hubs, think Dallas, Atlanta, and Charlotte, being right in the crosshairs of the worst ice and snow. And you can see the industry's response right here. The major airlines, they didn't wait around. They got ahead of it, preemptively issuing these travel waivers for dozens of airports, especially their key hubs. This lets passengers change their plans without getting slammed with huge fees. And it's a clear sign of just how disruptive they knew this storm would be. Okay, so beyond the travel chaos, this storm's combination of ice and extreme cold puts an immense and dangerous strain on our power systems. This is where the story really shifts from just an inconvenience to a potential life-threatening crisis. And the focus immediately, and for good reason, turns to Texas. The state is on high alert, and there's a very clear reason for that, rooted in some very recent, very painful history. The state's grid operator, ERCOT, issued what's called a weather watch. Now, this isn't just a routine forecast. It's an official notification born directly from the lessons of that catastrophic 2021 winter storm, an event that led to widespread blackouts and, tragically, devastating consequences. So here's the crucial point. The grid is facing a triple threat. First, you have the physical damage from ice weighing down and snapping power lines. At the exact same time, you have a massive surge in demand as everyone cranks up the heat. And to make it all worse, the cold itself can disrupt the natural gas supply at the source, a phenomenon called a freeze-off, choking the fuel for power plants when they need it most. Now, the storm's impact doesn't just stop when the snow and ice stop falling. The economic consequences, this sort of lingering freeze, will be felt for days and in some cases weeks to come. Just look at this. Ahead of the storm, natural gas futures jumped over 21% in a single day. That's the market reacting in real time to that anticipated surge in heating demand and those potential supply disruptions we just talked about. For millions, this spike translates directly into much higher, much more painful heating bills. And it's not just the energy markets. With major trucking corridors like I-20 and I-85 likely to become impassable, the nation's supply chain faces significant delays. We're talking about everything from critical pharmaceuticals to just-in-time automotive parts getting stuck out there in the ice. So for the millions of people actually living through this, the concerns are immediate and they're personal. It's the fear of losing power and heat, it's the danger of navigating icy roads, and it's the very real cost of simply staying warm, not to mention the worry about store shelves emptying out. So to summarize the key takeaways, it really all comes down to a triple threat. You have the crippling ice taking down infrastructure, the paralysis of national travel, and the incredible simultaneous stress on the power grid. That is what makes the storm so significant. Which leaves us with a final, crucial question to think about long after this ice has melted. As these extreme weather events become more and more frequent, is our critical infrastructure truly ready for the next one?